Se ve fino. Ok. Vale, pues vamos.
I am standing behind that door in a sprinter's stance with my hand shaking like this.
And in walks like two of the biggest humans I've ever seen in my life.
I can barely walk, but oh well. Suck it up, Buttercup, let's go.
Vale, es que, a ver, como veis, este es todo el evento, o sea, todas las pruebas del tirón, que fue, pues, se ve que una misión que hicieron completa. Luego la fraccionaron, porque yo fui viendo vídeo a vídeo. Y eso. Y luego, tranquilos, que aún queda. Que de esto aún nos queda contenido. Episodio 7, el final. Es el final, pero me entenderéis. Voy a poner subtítulos.
All across the globe have been living together and competing against each other in various self-defense challenges. Throughout this time, they had moments of triumph and defeat, humor and disappointment. And although during these challenges they were rivals, they all agreed that after the championship is over, they will be coming out of this as greater friends.
It feels like walking into a room full of friends that I never even knew were my friends.
Yet before that happens, they were still set to face each other one last time in the final challenge that will pit them directly against each other.
This is tough, because like, I've grown to like you guys. What's so hard is it like, I don't want to see you sad, but you want to win. But I really want to see you guys sad.
The final challenge will have the contenders fight each other in all-out fights for 20 seconds each time. They will be facing each other off 3 times in 3 different environments, learning who they will fight against at the last moment just before the fight. And if one contender will dominate the fight or win it via submission or knockout, they will receive 3 points for each win, presenting a possibility for a single contender to earn 9 points in total by winning all 3 fights, potentially changing everything. Yet if the fight will be judged a draw, both contenders will receive 2 points, while no points will be received for a loss. And once this challenge is over, we will finally learn who has become the ultimate self-defense champion.
You know where that's from? No.
Come on.
I don't.
He knows what it's from. He might not actually. He might not be old enough.
A ver si nos aclaramos. ¿Dejamos los títulos o no los dejamos?
You know what I'm talking about? He has no idea.
Unfortunately, as the time for the final challenge came, the contenders learned that Matt will
Voy a ponerlos, que cuando habla la voz en off no
not be able to join it, as he had an emergency to take care of in his personal life, finalizing Matt's score as it is right now. Yet the contenders soon learned that there will be 2 new fighters who will join this challenge.
And in walks like 2 of the biggest humans I've ever seen in my life.
And then I started feeling my heart pounding. Holy what the heck is happening? And then I look at Mike and I tell him, Mike, I finally realized how you feel with me.
When they walked in the room, I pulled some self-defense, some magic, if you will. And I walk up to him and start chatting to him. I'm like, hey, what are you up to? At this point, if they're gonna be big, mean, and hit me hard, I was gonna...
Válgame, escúchame. Pero yo pensaba que iban a ser de la misma altura que es este. Este es grande, ¿eh? Por favor. ¡Qué loco!
Analyzing Matt's score
Mira las alturas, ¿eh?
as it is right now. Yet the contenders soon
Mira,
learned that
vale,
there will
Rokas es alto.
be 2 new fighters who
Dice, ahora entiendo lo que sentía Ramsey conmigo. Vale, yo pensaba que iban a ser igual que este, o que este, que es un pelín más bajito, pero es grandote, es igual, ¿vale? Tú
will
sabes,
join this challenge.
estos
In
mamotretos,
walks like 2 of the
¿ves a estos
biggest
en trance?
humans
Vale,
I've
pues
ever
tampoco
seen in my life.
And then I started feeling my heart
los haces igual de tamaños que estos, ¿no? Vamos a ver.
pounding. Holy what the heck is happening? And then I look at Mike and I tell him, Mike, I finally realized how you feel with me.
When they walked in the room, I pulled some self-defense, some magic, if you will. And I walk up to him and start chatting to him.
y
I'm
es
like,
aquí
hey, what are you up
cuando-
to? At this point, if they're gonna be...
Pero qué cojones. Hermano, que le saca una cabeza. Mira este que le saca cabeza y media. Mira esto. Mira esto. No me jodas, ¿pero esto qué es?
be big, mean, and hit me hard. I was gonna make them like me, so this way if they were gonna do it, they were gonna feel bad about it.
And then the discussion if Ramsey Dewey should join the final challenge due to his injury came about.
If you're injured, if this
Haz clic para descubrir las ofertas de Amazon. Compra ahora.
smart decision is not to, then that's cool. You make the call.
I'm too injured to compete at this point. I'm out, I can't do it.
As Ramsey dropped out, his total score was also
Otro que está lesionado. Muy jodido para competir. Llegas a este punto. Y como iba el último, se cae. Me encaja, me encaja. Por Matt y Ramsey, bueno, se queda Icy Mike, que es el policía.
Finalized, leaving 4 contenders and 2 additional fighters to fight each other.
Recordemos. Jeff, peleador de MMA. O expeleador. Es peleador profesional, o ha sido. Seth, Sensei Seth, karateka. Rokas, cinturón negro en Aikido, que es el que tiene el canal y el que ha hecho todo esto. Matt, no recuerdo. Era uno bajito que le echaba cojones. Mike, Icy Mike. Bastante, no fantasma, pero que intenta ir de saberlo todo y resulta que es menos efectivo que a lo mejor la primera opción que se te pasa por la cabeza instintivamente. ¿Vale? Que hay una diferencia magnífica y magistral en el capítulo de los zombies, que se ve cómo procesan la información Jeff y Seth frente a Mike, por ejemplo, y es diametralmente opuesto. Mike va a lo chano, poquito a poco, porque los zombies tenían los ojos tapados y solo podían tirar de oído. Entonces el zombie estaba encima de gravilla, tenían que pasar ellos por un pasillo con gravilla, por cerca suyo, o sea, por al lado suyo. La estrategia de Mike, ir poquito a poquito, con los otros 3 siguiéndole, tirar una piedra para despistarle, cuando se fuese, correr uno, el otro marear y entonces salir. La estrategia de Jeff y de Seth, correr, hermano. ¿No ven? Correr por al lado suyo. Cuando se dé cuenta de que has pasado por su lado, tú ya estás a salvo. Y en estas cosas te das cuenta que hay veces, luego también, estos salvaron a una niña y él dijo, uy, ¿y es este morado de aquí? ¿Esto qué es? No, pero esto no es del juego, esto no es... ¡Pum! Y hace como que se la carga. Y mata a un inocente. En el juego dices, loco, no razones tanto, no vayas desde tan saberlo todo y fluye, hermano.
Score was also
Pero aquí vemos justo las diferentes formas de pensar.
finalized, leaving 4 contenders and 2 additional fighters to fight each other. And once Who Fights Who was chosen by drawing out ballots, the final details were revealed to the contenders.
Goran's had about 6 Muay Thai fights, and this is Hulla, who was Australian wrestling champion probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mike is petrified.
The other thing too is you don't need your gloves. We're fighting in the old Bruce Lee, Kali weapons gloves as well, just for the sake of your fingers. It's almost like you're wearing 10-ounce boxing gloves, but you can grapple somewhat with it. First one that we're taking you to is there's 2 doors. Half will be in that half will be in that half. You don't know who you're fighting. I'll come in and go, you're up,
Hermano,
when
me está costando entender su puto inglés. O sea, qué cabrón.
you hear the whistle, you come out those doors, you just go straight in. You've got 20 seconds to do as much as you can.
The reason for this challenge
Joder, no sé si es de Inglaterra, no inglés no parece. Es de un pueblo ahí perdido el hijo de puta.
of going all out
O aprende a hablar mamón.
for 20 seconds is to show that usually in self-defense when fighting at maximum intensity, the fight does not
Mira que bien se le escucha a Rokas, tío. Mira que bien se le entiende a Rokas. Joder, entiendas o no el inglés, por lo menos lo entiendes. Entiendes qué quiere decir una palabra en concreto, aunque tú no la entiendas. Pero el otro... O sea, bro...
look like a professional fight, but instead even experienced martial artists end up looking like brawlers due to adrenaline and the chaos of the situation. Just like pre-conference MMA brawls don't look like professional fights either. And under these difficult circumstances, we will be seeing who still does the best by causing the most damage to potentially end the fight.
I am standing behind that door in a sprinter's stance with my hands shaking like this.
I step through the door, I run toward apparently Seth, and I see a fist flying towards me, and bam!
So I was going to open the door, sprint around the corner, and smash whoever was there. It was Rokas.
I'm not doing that great. My strategy did not work out. I'm like, it's time to go down.
How are we? You know how that goes? Yeah.
Since Seth did more damage and dominated the fight longer, he receives 3 points, temporarily putting him in the lead.
The sophisticated plan to minimize the damage didn't give much fruit. Seth's plan to just go all out worked so much better. I'm like, I'm gonna do this next.
But before I could find out if my new plan will work better, Icy Mike and Jeff Jan still had to find out if they were going to fight each other or one of the 2 other fighters in this round.
What was your reaction to the big guys?
Believe it or not, I was kind of relieved because I thought I wouldn't have to fight Sensei Seth.
You choose them over Sensei Seth?
For some reason,
villain, I kind of was.
I thought it was gonna be the big guy, and I said, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna throw my right hand as hard. I'm just gonna go straight at him. Well, apparently on the other side, Jeff Chan's probably thinking the same thing.
Jeff siempre que puede tira a derribar. Siempre. Es increíble. Lo tiene automatizado.
I create a little bit of space to hit the up kick. The up kick's been my only thing that's been working for me this whole week against these monsters.
Good job, boys.
That fight, given a long enough timeline, I'm sure he beats me. In those 20 seconds, I feel like it's fairly close.
And then, since Ramsey Dewey was out of the fights, due to his experience as an MMA referee and judge, he was invited to help judge the fights.
I thought it was pretty close. I would almost score that a draw.
Really? Why?
Those up kicks were pretty good. On the ground, he landed more shots. Jeff had a dominant position, but
Shots from the bottom, there's like no weight behind that.
Jeff went head first into the wall. The takedown was good, but he didn't lift him up.
Esto no lo termino de ver yo, claro, que un participante... Ah, no, que se ha retirado. Vale, me callo.
I'm sort of thinking it's a draw, but we'll see what Aaron thinks. It was close. I said it was a draw too.
One good thing.
Para que no lo esté entendiendo, este estaba participando, ya no participa porque le duele todo, me parece que está muy lesionado para seguir compitiendo, y es referí árbitro de MMAs o así total. Entonces este le está pidiendo consejo en cierta manera a este por el combate.
From the bottom was it, just the upkick. Everything else was total domination from the top, so I don't know how this could be considered a draw. I'm holding my position.
No, yeah, that's okay.
Unfortunately for Mike, eventually the second judge was swayed by Ramsey's opinion, and Jeff Chan received 3 points for the win, bringing him back into the first position. And then for the ending of the first round, the two
No entendió la duda. Estaba claro.
additional fighters were set to fight each other.
Should we play the song for him, Josephine?
Oh, yes, please. Play that.
It turns out the additional fighters were a trick to raise the stress and adrenaline levels of the contenders.
I did this just to mess with people's heads, just to try and make everyone scared. Those two guys aren't fighting anymore. That was just a fuck. That was with your head. I wanted that intimidation, throw a curveball, someone that you're not familiar with.
Hey, you are Listen, you exploited my friendship. I'm tying his gloves up, thinking I thought I'd fight you later.
Luckily for the contenders, they won't be needing to fight the additional fighters, yet they still had 2 more fights with each other.
This was the door, and I'm in the dressing room. I saw Rokas go. I was going for a clinch, and then
as soon as I saw your head snap back, I said that was Seth.
Soon enough, it was revealed to us that the next fight will take place on a bridge, the same one that during the Zombie Apocalypse Challenge, Sensei Seth described as...
This right here is really sketchy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But this time, we're going to know who our opponents were. And Seth was going to fight Icy Mike, while I was going to fight Jeff Chan. And the two of us were going to fight first.
I know I'm gonna have to fight Jeff Chan, professional MMA king fighter. I know he's amazing, but I have the size weight advantage, and I thought I'm gonna have the aggression advantage. But I also know he loves double leg takedowns, so I'm not gonna jump on him.
This time there was actually space and I could actually see and kind of sort of plan. So I went to fake a takedown.
Hostia, es que me parece tan curioso que las dos estrategias sean iguales. Quiero decir, uno quiere ir a proteger el derribo y el otro va a fintar el derribo para que el otro se la coma. Bro. Mind explosion, ¿eh? ¡Bah!
Go! Instead of running into him, I stopped.
So I feinted, you didn't react to it. Went for the 1-2, you dodged it.
Me parece jodido, hacer la pelea aquí en un puente, hermano. Te calientas, lo tiras, no jodas.
Oh, that's my opportunity. Wham, I connect with him. I get a few shots on him.
You were feeding me punches, I had to grapple you.
I decide I'm gonna throw him over my shoulder. post.
When you got up, I have a reaction to exit punch.
Se la lleva ayer.
Ramsey.
Brooks did better than I thought he would, but I think Jeff won around.
I give Jeff the slight edge, ever so slight, yeah, because he landed some good shots. Unconventionally sort of reversed it, but then Jeff regained that position, so we go Jeff.
Although the fight was not one-sided, Jeff Chan had the upper hand, scoring him yet another 3 points and pushing him further in the lead.
That last punch probably would have disconnected me if not the helmet. I feel it. Jeff is so precise, even in like a tough, chaotic situation. Bam!
And next up, Sensei Seth was set to face Icy Mike.
I'm doing kata before we start to mess with him, but I just see him like this, standing like he's like Troy. I was like, okay, I guess that's lame.
It's a f***ed up thing, a fight with a friend. I don't want to fight him, but then that f***s him up.
Is everyone ready? Yep.
Let's go.
We clinch up. He kicks me in the balls. I registered that he kicked me down there. I didn't feel anything.
I expected a head kick for the competitive streak, and we've been talking about landing head kicks on people.
Este sí que está ajustado, Este sí que está ajustado,
And now it was time to find out who won the fight.
My God, a solid knee to the nuts.
Yeah. The whole event, I needed to be more aggressive. I needed to flip that switch, and I did, and I was slow to start.
But the judges weren't as convinced about Mike's loss. And since they couldn't come to a consensus, all the contenders were invited to assess Mike's fight against Seth.
We thought it was very easy. That kick, he obviously pulled it. That's the danger of pulling the kick is they get caught all the time. You'd more or less say that was a takedown. I know granted if you follow through it would be different.
The groin kick was
That's not a fact that we're one of those schools that, kick to the groin, kick to the groin. But it was actually Ramsey that brought it up.
He pulled the kick to the head, I pulled the kick to the groin. At the end of the fight, Seth was on top and was feeding punches. If that went 10 seconds longer, could have done a lot of damage, then the groin shot does play a big role. It's so. You know what? I'd be happy to call it a draw.
Who thinks Seth won? Like, honestly, who thinks Seth won? Who thinks Mike won? Who thinks it was a draw?
So it was 2 for Seth, 2 for Mike. The nature of that is it is a draw.
It's a 2-2, and yeah.
For the draw, both Mike and Seth get 2 points, which brings us to a fascinating situation, where if in the following round Seth will win his fight and Jeff will lose his, Sensei Seth will become the ultimate self-defense champion by getting ahead with a single point.
Eso es un supuesto, ¿no? Creo que he escuchado.
By getting ahead with a single point.
Sí, creo que sí.
In this round, all the competitors will once again fight a randomly chosen opponent, and they will find out who it will be at the very last moment once the hoods will be taken off, while the environment will be a lounge. And I was going to fight my final opponent first.
All I'm thinking about is like, as soon as they're gonna take off the hood, I'm just gonna jump, whoever that is, I'm just gonna strike them.
Blindfolds will come off in a moment.
You're Jeff telling, as soon as I'm gonna lift off the hood, and I'm like, God, I'm tuned in, I'm ready.
Blindfolds off. Wait. 3 seconds.
Yeah, so Rokas cheated.
Turns out what Jeff said was...
Then you have about 3 seconds and we'll say go.
I did not...
No entendí. Ha pitado, ¿no? O sea...
The hood, and I'm like, God, I'm tuned in, I'm ready.
Blindfolds off. Wait. 3 seconds.
Yeah, so Rokas cheated.
Turns out what Jeff said was...
Then you have about 3 seconds and we'll say go.
I did not hear that whatsoever.
Luckily, Mike accepted it as an honest mistake, and in a moment, we were ready to go again.
I thought that Rokas might duck and shoot, not try the same thing twice. So I tried to do a flying knee. I was hoping you would duck your face into it.
I'm feeling terrible. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna let him strike first.
2, 1, go!
¿Qué banco necesitan las empresas ahora?
Ahí el peso hace mucho, porque ha salido con una rodilla voladora.
And it sort of grazed off his chest.
Se lo lleva Rokas,
That was it for Mike and I, leaving Mike with a final score of 20 points and the 4th place, and me with 26 points and the 3rd place.
The fact is that when the vote was there who's gonna win, I was last, and pretty significantly last. And deep inside I thought, I'm gonna prove everyone wrong. I've been working so hard for the past few years. I've been training my ass off, going to classes 6 and even more times per week. I know all the other guys have more experience than I do, but I also know that I can show stuff as well. And I realized I got the 3rd spot.
Me, I guess technically 4th place. It hurts. And it's rough, and knowing your limitations is important too. That could be considered a form of self-defense. I know where I'm at. The cool thing about this though is all the fights are so nuts. It wasn't like anyone got owned. Even the fights where somebody won, other dude was in there. So I feel happy about my performance. I'm my own belt. I don't need that belt.
And now, it was time to find out who will become the ultimate self-defense champion.
Buah, qué bien ha cuadrado todo, tío. No sé si lo habrán hecho adrede o qué, pero... Buah. Sensei Seth contra Jeff Chan. Ah, peleón.
The whole purpose
peleón, 20 segundos, ¿sabes? Que se van a tirar cogidos.
The mask was that you didn't know who you were fighting. Before we take off the mask, I say, you got 5 seconds? I can hear Jeff go, yeah. Jeff knew it was me off the jump.
Go, go.
So my just reaction was to shoot for the double. He sprawled really quickly.
I'm going to win.
Go.
I found success in grabbing people, running them into something.
Es que con tanto aparato, en plan, con mano, o sea, con guantes de dedo raros, de esos parecen de portero, casco, coderas, espinilleras, coquilla. Tiene que ser cogerte, tiene que ser como cogerte desde aquí, ¿sabes?
And I'm going, bomb, bomb. I was like, oh, there's only 20 seconds. I think I'm going to lose this.
Le tira la llave.
I feel like my arm is like, it's kind of like in something. But I know that there can't be much time left. I'm waiting, and then it gets to the point that I can't take it anymore. I, on his leg, go, tap.
Formidable, chaval. Esto ha sido espectacular.
Waiting. I feel like my arm is like, it's kind of like in something. But I know that there can't be much time left. I'm waiting, and then it gets to the point that I can't take it anymore. I, on his leg, go, tap, tap. Beep, 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 beep.
Qué puta.
Good job, man. Thanks, brother. You would've.
I lost. Like, I lost a whole thing. I'm about to start crying right now. I lost a whole thing right then in one, like in a fight that I felt like I was winning.
I'm obviously happy and proud, but at the same time, if there's any change in the rules, things could have been significantly different.
I've grown such a bond with you guys. Like, I'm sad to go home. I love my life, but I'm sad to go home. I'm gonna miss you guys for sure. I'm also sad that I didn't win.
This self-defense tournament needs to happen again with a different set of participants.
I think it was really cool. It's very wholesome, everyone coming together. It's really cool to take someone who is like a professional fighter and just put them in environments that everyone fantasizes about seeing them in and actually seeing it play out.
This is the first time that anything like this has happened. Now that we know it can be done, I'm interested to see what you do next. Doesn't Jeff have to defend his belt?
Tenemos la segunda temporada y me la voy a guardar para reaccionar porque está muy guapo.